You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
All right. Welcome back to the Fourcast. We are back in the building with another show. Today, recapping Super Bowl 58. We will not have the entire crew on tonight. Doc will not be here. And Mayhem, aka Wilkes, will not be here. He is not ready to talk about it. So he'll be on next week. But today we just kind of wanted to do a recap of the Super Bowl, and that's including the game, the commercials, the halftime show. So kind of a full recap and review, just like what we do with movies, but we're going to do it with the Super Bowl. So obviously Super Bowl Sunday was yesterday, Chiefs and 49ers. But before we get into it, glad to be back. We were off last week. Had the pleasure of going to Radio Row, which was a great experience. And glad to be back talking with you, A-Trap.
Hey, man, as a matter of fact, why don't you start the show and give us a little preview of Radio Row?
Yeah, man, it was, as you can see, I still have the Super Bowl Radio Row on my thing up there. But, man, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was fun. It was interesting. It was kind of all of those wrapped in one. And from the day, basically, you kind of hit the ground, you get everything set up. We did have a table this year, so the difference between this year and the previous year is that we had an actual table on Radio Row. So we were able to bring guests on, sit them down, interview with them, and so it was a great experience. I would say one of the top experiences of my life. With me, myself, Courtney Harden, his wife, and Doc were there, and yeah, it was a great experience, man. It was, one story I'll tell is that I was walking to the basically it was the Mandalay Bay and the Luxor Hotel. The Luxor is where all the media stayed. Mm-hmm. Mandalay Bay Convention Center is where the Radio Row was located. So I was walking there, and I ran into a guy. His name, drawing a blank on his name. But I ran into, he's a former NFL player, won the Super Bowl with the 49ers back in, I think that was 83. And so he was an older gentleman. I met him on the elevator. And
running back?
Nah, hold on. I'm looking it up here.
Black guy, Mike Wilson, Wendell Tyler.
Black guy, older black guy. Let me see. I'm almost there. His name was Charlie Young. Oh. He played tight end, and so I met him in the elevator, and basically we were just talking, and he was like, "You don't know who I am, do you?" I was like, "Nah, I don't." He was like, "Google me." All right, so I Googled him. I looked him up. He played for the Seahawks, the Raiders, a couple other teams, won the Super Bowl, and so we were walking, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna interview you. As soon as we get the Radio Row, I'm gonna sit down at your table. We could talk." And so fast forward, we end up having an interview, and then Kellen Winslow is walking around, and he comes over there and he shakes his hand, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit down with you in a minute." So I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe." So he sits down and basically gives us at least 3 to 5 minutes, and so I felt like that was kind of one of those wow moments. Interviewing Kurt Franklin was another one of those wow moments. Tech Nine, if you're familiar with him, artist out of Kansas City. That was a great interview. So, man, it was great. It was definitely lived up to it. Every single moment was great. So, man, I appreciate everybody's support. Those that either prayers, either sharing, liking, whatever. I appreciate all of that because it was and it was work. It wasn't. I mean, it was fun, but it was also work. But to me, it's not work because it's a part of my passion. So it was just an enjoyable time. That's kind of all I can put it.
Sounds dope.
Let's get to the chat here. We got Jeff Gilliard, a host of This Dope Cooking Show. He said, awesome job, fellas, at the Super Bowl. We appreciate it. Facebook user, so we can see who you are, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. He said, hey, guys. Jeff said, I'm trying to get tickets now for next year. Yeah, those tickets were out of this world expensive. But we will be going back, and it'll be in New Orleans this next year. But we're going to be working on that setup as well. It'll be even bigger and better than what we had. What's up, Raider Kev in the building? Somebody said, hey, guys, y'all did great, man. It was definitely something to watch y'all while I was working. Got in trouble for it. But it was well worth it. I don't know who that is, but hey, man, don't get in trouble at work, man. All right, don't get in trouble. But yeah, man, we were dropping stuff every 30 minutes to an hour because you just never know who was going to walk by, who was going to come around. Antonio Pierce, you know, for the Raiders guy, he was walking around through there. A lot of Hall of Famers wandering around, walking around. Everybody has like a handler, so you know you got to go to the handler and say, "Hey, you got a couple minutes," or if you just kind of have if you kind of spark a conversation, the guy may be willing to come over. Ben, I really enjoyed the coverage from Radio Row. You guys did a great job. I appreciate that very much. Miss Hale in the building says, hi, Ben. I'm so proud of y'all for the past weekend experience. Was it Jerry Rice? No, it was not Jerry Rice. He was there, but it was not. Did you shake Usher's fine hand? No, I did not. He was not there on Radio Row, but Doc and Courtney's wife went to the press conference for the halftime show. So we're able to get some pictures and stuff, and we'll get to that. I mean, how you guys feel the halftime show was. Blue Streak, thank you for tuning in. I love the Avi photo. I'm an NFL player that won a Super Bowl with the Niners and Cowboys. Tall, older black gentleman that let me hold his Super Bowl ring. I met him back in 2013. Okay. Who are you, Facebook user? Let us know who you are. Or go to StreamYard.com/Facebook so we can see. Keisha said, take me next year. What's up, Jungle? Appreciate you for coming through. Said, Ben, congrats on the Vegas trip. I appreciate the support. Means a lot to all of us. All right, so Super Bowl 58. Leading up to the week of the game, leading up to Sunday, the narrative was that the 49ers have the better team, but the Chiefs have Mahomes. That was the narrative everybody was saying on Radio Row. That was the narrative that was kind of being put out there, and the Chiefs were the underdog. But what was kind of your initial thoughts, you know, when you're hearing all of this being talked about, you know, in multiple arenas?
Well, I mean, I felt the same way. The 49ers are a stacked team. They double it up everywhere besides offensive line, but you know, you don't traditionally double up on offensive line. This is a team that is well put together. They're well coached. They play old school punch in the mouth football. But when you had an X factor, it's hard to beat the X factor. And you saw it at the end of the game last night. It's difficult to beat the X factor, and that's it. That's all.
Yeah. And I think Mahomes has showed his greatness. I mean, you can put him up there with Manning. Really, at this point, you can put him up there with some of the greats. And I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done yet. I think it does matter what the wide receivers he has, but you've seen he did it with a rookie with Sean Rice. They had Valdez Scantley, who was dropping balls all year, and then they had Mr. No Eyebrows, and he didn't even play.
Y'all wrong. Y'all killing that dude, man. I suffer from the same affliction, so I'm kind of partial to that.
But hey, it's all love. You know, we joke around, but yeah, he didn't even play, and he had Kelsey, and then not to mention the receiver that caught the ball at the end of the game. Who was that? Obviously Pacheco. You know, you had Pacheco coming through and doing his thing, and what's the guy's name? But the wide receiver that caught it at the end of the game, he was actually on a different team. He was actually on the Jets.
Yes.
Yeah, early in the season, and he ends up catching the game-winning touchdown, which I felt was an amazing ending to the game. And that was McCole Hardman, excuse me. So yeah, I mean, this was it definitely lived up to the hype. It was kind of slow early on. Big fumble though at the beginning of the game, which kind of which kind of threw me for a loop with McCaffrey. He doesn't. I don't think he's traditionally a person that fumbles, but when that kind of happened, did you think the 49ers are going to bounce back, or they're going to be a little shook?
You know what? I don't think anything of it's the first quarter. It's a football game. The beauty of watching these two teams, they played football. You know, they didn't play ESPN highlight bowl. And that's the problem in most cases this season. You got teams throwing the ball all over the yard, and football is a game of attrition. From Thanksgiving, literally, you can look it up.
Yeah.
From Thanksgiving until yesterday, he who runs the ball wins the game. You run the win, you throw the score. I will always think that. I'll always believe in that. And until I'm proven otherwise on a consistent basis, you know, I need about 6 to 8 teams to do it. And seeing how it's been close to 60 Super Bowls, I don't think it's ever going to be proven. You run the win, you throw the score.
Yeah, you've been talking about that for years.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, I've been on the field, and it's easy to just chase people around for 4 to 6 seconds. You know, height, throw, chase them around 4 to 6 seconds, get them to the ground, chase them around 4 to 6. You never get tired. When you get tired, and when you have one of these big old dudes running at you, who you know, I got to figure out a way to get around him, and I got to figure out a way to get to that dude. Now it's a chess match, and until teams stop trying to get on ESPN and stop trying to prove that their coach is a genius, they will continue to lose in this fashion, in that fashion. I appreciated it. I mean, if you go to my Twitter timeline, I was with the homies and they were like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Don't worry about what I'm doing. Just finish watching the game." Like, do what you're doing, But I was on there. I mean, I like defense. I'm a former defender, so I love defense. And this was my kind of football game. It was exactly what I used to. That's the reason I used to love football, watching games like this.
Yeah, and it was a battle. This wasn't a high flying offensive game. It had some high offensive plays, but this was not a high scoring game. It ended up being 25 to 22, and going into overtime, it was 19 to 19. So that tells you that this was not just a high flying game. Raider Kev said Mahomes is definitely the X factor. You give that man an opportunity to win a game, he will cut your throat. And it's weird really calling him the X factor because he's Mahomes. He's the best player on that team. But in this scenario, because of the narrative that was being put out there, because the Chiefs, I don't think at any point in time is an underdog, but I think they did it that way because on paper, you would say 49ers had the better roster. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you give Mahomes time, which ended up happening in this game. You cannot give quarterbacks like this time. It's the same thing as Brady, same thing as Aaron Rodgers, same thing as top quarterbacks in the game, and he gave him too much time. So Mahomes is going to deliver 9 times out of 10, maybe even 10 times out of 10.
I mean, we've never seen him have a bad playoff game. Even when he loses, he looks well.
Right. Even when he hurt his knee in that playoff game, still came back the next week like everything was all good. Jungle Brother says, I like Shanahan because he's one of the few coaches who still use the fullback in his offense. Yeah, you check. And not only does he use him, but he uses him as a decoy, uses him as a pass catcher out of the backfield. So you don't know at any point in time in the game, you don't know what Juszczyk is going to be used as. So I agree with you on that comment. Facebook user says, salute. We appreciate you. April Showers Network, thank you for tuning in. Said hello, everyone. Mad Knox in the building. Got a new photo on the Abbey there.
Yeah, Anthony. Way to go, Anthony. You look good. Looking good there, buddy.
Latanya Childs, thank you for tuning in. Say hello, y'all. We appreciate the support. So kind of early on, let's talk about a couple commercials. Quiet Place. Have you ever seen Quiet Place?
Nah.
No. It's basically one of those alien type horror movies. Lupita and Django is in it, and this time around, I thought it was a Peele movie, just because normally she's in those movies. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a new Key and Peele movie, the new Jordan Peele movie, and it actually wasn't that. But
yeah.
so we had that kind of early. The commercials were, none of them really stood out to me. I feel like it's they're going backwards. You used to be excited.
They're trying to overdo it, man. I mean, it's nothing to be. The beautiful part of being creative is subtlety, and they're over the top with everything. So
yeah.
You know, you just slide in and get you, and they trying to look at me.
Right. Or they do the tearjerker one, or they, they had the one where everybody's feet was getting washed. I don't know. To me, that was a little bit over the top.
Yeah, I'm stupid. Go ahead, say it, man. I'm stupid.
Yeah, there you go. I said that. I agree with you there. Kev Shanahan is definitely a great coach, but he has to carry some of this weight for the 49ers not winning this game. I'll go ahead.
No, I just took a deep breath. I don't agree with. I'm just we got into whatever happened to you lost. You know,
and not blame somebody. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, it's immediately going to a blame game. I mean, you play. These are two of the best defenses in the league. They showed themselves as two of the better defenses in the league all year. These were two of the most explosive, not explosive in deep balls, but they were scoring in bunches all year. So when you got an immovable force and an immovable object clashing, somebody has to lose.
True.
I mean,
true.
I was listening all day just to see who they were gonna blame, and they just kept blaming. Man, sometimes, you know what? It's like Ali Frazier won. Frazier caught him with the uppercut, and he knocked him down, and that's the difference in the fight. And I got the best player, arguably. I got the best quarterback, arguably, in the league, and we beat y'all. There's nothing you can do to stop me. If I keep it, and I said this, I want to say it's about 6 minutes ago in the first quarter. My homeboy Lafayette was sitting next to right me. My man Bub was right here, and I remember saying, they're gonna lose. And everybody there looked at me like, whatever. I was like, dude, they should be up 14.
Yeah, you saying you talking about the 49ers.
49 should be up 14.
Yeah.
I say the only way they can win if they get up 14. I say if you keep this close, dude gonna win the game.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I mean, that's when you're a great ball player. That's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, and also there was mistakes. There was a lot of team mistakes on both sides. Then the 49ers losing Greenlaw, which was a weird freak accident. I mean, tearing his Achilles like that. If he would have been on the field, who knows, possibly what the outcome would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony says Jungle. But yeah, there was a lot of factors. I think, hindsight, you would have said go for the touchdown instead of the field goal. But what if you don't get the field goal? And then you end up being in a further situation. I think one of the biggest stories was on both sides, them not knowing what the overtime rules were. Now, I didn't know that it changed myself, but I'm not necessarily playing in the game. But that was, looking at some of the post-game quotes, and there was multiple players that were saying, I didn't know it changed. So to me, that is a little bit of a coaching thing that, hey, train your guys up to make sure they're aware that when it comes to, if it happens to be an overtime game, you know what to do. Ideally, you don't want it to go to an overtime game, but if it does, you got to have some general knowledge. Somebody needs to have some type of general knowledge of what to do in that situation. Raider says, well, that's my point because he wasn't aggressive in the red zone. He gave Mahomes opportunity, and we're not even gotten to the overtime decision of taking the ball first. That was a bad decision. I'm just making sure when you put Mahomes, Shanahan on a pedestal like they have, I want to make sure we point out his flaws when they happen.
Okay, what's Bill Walsh's flaws? What's Bill Parcells' flaws?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, him getting there, which he's been there 3 times, right? Or 2. He's been there 3.
This is the second Super Bowl. He got the Falcons to the Super Bowl as the OC.
Right. So obviously, I think there is some blame. I don't think it's all on him. I think the team made a ton of mistakes. You fumbling that ball early in the game. It was a complete team loss, but they stayed in it. And obviously you want to score. You want to score the points at that kind of last drive, knowing that you're about to give the ball back to Mahomes. But so that there is some game time decisions that you could have went left or right. Now I was rooting for the Niners. I thought this was going to be their year, but again, when you have an elite superstar quarterback, it doesn't matter what the other team does. Even if they would have scored that touchdown, I'm thinking Mahomes probably would have still went down and would have scored, and the game would have just continued to go on. Now, some people were trying to say it was because they had Purdy and they didn't have an elite quarterback, but Purdy, he didn't make any mistakes either. He had 23 for 38, 255 and a touchdown. So it wasn't like he was the glaring issue in the situation. So, it's one of those where, you could have made all the right decisions and you probably would have still lost. Unfortunately,
I don't see where any decisions were made that were poor. Just me. I'm looking at this game. You have a average quarterback, B minus, C plus quarterback. This dude, he's not great. He's just good. He's just a good quarterback. And you have a coach who has coached up a horrible quarterback to be in the same position. Right. Jimmy G was horrible.
Yeah.
He was in the same position. Yeah. And you had another average quarterback. He made MVP. I don't see a whole lot of coaches. It's a bunch of dudes who coach talent. That dude in Miami is coaching a lot of talent down there.
Yeah.
They're not there. The dude in Baltimore, he had the best defense, he had the best offense, he had the league MVP, and he watched that game just like we did. So, I think we just get into identifying the flaws. It was this one play. I've never played in a game in my life that if you take this one play back, we win. No, because if you go through every game in the history of football, there are several missed tackles, there are several missed coverages, there are several missed blocks, there are holdings, there are several penalties. This is a collection of a collection of plays that the end result results in. Dude, let's jump the shark right now. I'm about to say something that a lot of people gonna say, "Oh man, you tripping." If you ask me, dude, even at this young age, he catapulted himself into, at a minimum, number 3 all time. Brady not in my top 3.
Talking about Mahomes?
Yeah. He's the number 3 quarterback as of right now because he's gonna keep playing. He's gonna move up.
Hey, keep talking. I got to step away real quick.
Okay. Well, he put himself in a position to whereas he's number 3 right now on my paper. You ask me to write it out, I'm gonna say he's number 3 right now. He's only behind Elway and Montana and Elway. The reason I put him in front of everybody else, besides Montana, Elway, Mahomes, because those are the only 2 dudes that could have did what he did last night. Let's not forget, he called his own number twice. When it was either get this done, right? You gotta get this done. Brady couldn't have done that. Brady couldn't have run for those 4 yards because they'd have called Brady at the edge. Manning, they'd have called him at the edge, so y'all don't count. Everybody, oh, Aaron Rodgers is a bad man, but Aaron Rodgers don't do what this guy does in the playoffs. Yeah. And other quarterbacks like Moon and others, they didn't have the opportunities. But all I know is I saw a dude that it's only 2 other dudes since I've been watching football who've been in championship situations that could have done that, and that is Montana and that is Elway. So when you're in that conversation, we can say, well, you won, he won. Old boy won 7 Super Bowls. Well, I can think at least 4 of those Super Bowls where he was a non-factor.
And it was defense.
Yeah.
Now to back up your argument right here, you look at total playoff wins. 35 is Brady, 16 is Montana, and 15 is Mahomes. He's one above Peyton Manning. So,
and people don't, so nah, man. I mean, this dude, the greatest coach in the world. Me personally, I think the greatest coach in the world would have lost that game. No matter who you are, you're losing that game because Steve Spagnuolo, his defense is well coached. They run, they gang tackle, they run to the ball in the groups, and they don't miss tackles. That's what I was watching all night. I was just saying it to myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm watching these dudes because defense is my thing. And I'm watching, and I'm like, they don't miss tackles. They don't miss tackles. It was a couple of, of course, you're going to be if you can't score a touchdown without a missed tackle. But
now one of the things, a couple of things I'll say on the 49ers side, they was all over the place defensively. I think they were too excited at the initial part of the game. Well, Greenlaw was, right out the gate, man. He was, the first tackle he made, and he was so amped up, and then he ends up trying to run on the field. I hate that for him because I'm sure he's probably kicking himself and probably pissed right now.
But that Achilles thing is unexpected. It's like the ACL.
Yeah. But he was running all over the field. Shout out to Randy Gregory. We were able to talk to him for a minute at the opening night. He was getting active, former Cowboys player. So to me, I was thinking if they keep running around like this, they got a really good shot to win, and which they did. But at the end of the first, it was 0-0. So that told you right there this was going to be a tightly matched game. And I had took some notes. Early mistakes on both sides. This was not a clean game, especially in that first half. It was a lot of 3 and outs, and I think they were kind of gauging each other. Like, okay, what's this team doing? What they're doing on the other side, and how we can match up with it. Raider Kids, I think he and Elway are equal right now, so certainly he will surpass him at some point. I don't think there's a quarterback at his age ever has done these things. I would agree with you. I don't know that for a fact, but and this is with a guy at Texas Tech that not a lot of people were like, he's going to be a top pick. And I think he came in with a chip on his shoulder, and I think it comes down to how hard are you working. It's not like he's got that God-given talent, but this dude has worked. Because when he got there, Alex Smith was there, which is I would say a system quarterback, a serviceable quarterback, basically what he was. And when he got his opportunity, I think Alex Smith was still there. He didn't get the keys back, so it was Mahomes' show. From there on.
Yeah, dude, when he walked in the door, man, this dude walked in the door, and the whole world said, "My bad."
Oh yeah.
He walked in the door. I can't think of the dude. He used to coach the Giants, and he used to be he's one of Andy Reid's guys. And he said Andy Reid asked him, "Who do you like in this draft?" And he said Deshaun Watson. He's like, Deshaun Watson is the man. And Andy Reid was like, Mahomes is the man. Yeah, and I'm gonna get him. And this dude, and this is like me and Mo had a conversation 7 days ago on the Chief Seats about sitting your quarterback, letting them watch the game, letting them see what's going on instead of just throwing them out there to the wolves
Right.
And he's proof positive. This dude is different, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can only think of as a matter of fact, 3 other guys that could have did what he did last night. The first one would be Staubach in the 70s, and then Elway in Montana. All other dudes, they statues.
Yeah.
They statues. The ones that have won championships. You know, people like Cunningham and Vick, man. Yeah, they got out of it. But dudes who act like this dude different. And anybody who's not saying he's different, you just tripping. You looking for a reason not to enjoy what you're watching. I'm enjoying it. I'm a Raiders fan, and I'm watching. And like I was talking, Jungle Brother and D-Great, they invited me on their show last night. And I said, just looking at the history of the Chiefs, this dude could go on an unprecedented run, because for years the Chiefs they had Barry Word and Christian Okoye and Harvey Williams, and always kept a host of linebackers, Neil Smith, Derek Thomas, and Percy Snow and that crew, and they always get DBs. This is a team that drafts well my entire life, and now one thing that they were missing, they have Terry McVanover, Deron Cherry. These dudes been drafted well my entire life, but it was always, y'all can't get nobody to throw the football though. Now, they can get somebody. Now, because of the way the world is shaped and the way the sports world is configured, you know what they're gonna be doing? They're gonna be tricking these goofballs into taking less money and going to Kansas City.
Yeah.
And once they start tricking goofballs into that, you're gonna have some top flight guys for cheap money, because they know if we can keep it close, he's gonna win it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be the Warriors. The Warriors at one point was just having everybody, Rudy Gay, everybody. All these older cat, Otto Porter went over there. So they said, let's not forget at Tech, he was being coached by Kingsbury. He was. Perhaps that's why he did the flourish.
Nah, he flourished. I watched the game in Texas Tech against Oklahoma. This cat threw for 700 yards in one game.
And that offense, which was Leach, Mike Leach, rest in peace, was that air raid where they didn't. I mean, they had a running back, but they wasn't handing it off. It was.
He was down the block.
Right, exactly. Like if you come in there, do not expect to go to the NFL playing running back. Maybe you're gonna play some other position, but yeah, they aired it out. That's what they did every opportunity they had. So it definitely showed his offensive skills, his arm strength. So and shout out to Andy Reid, because there was a lot of teams that passed. Andy was the one, and whoever that GM is, and they took the opportunity, and obviously it panned out. And this is really just the beginning. At the age that he's at, a lot of the players are still in their prime. You still have, I don't see Spagnuolo going maybe anywhere else. I think he had an opportunity.
Got a couple. He's staying
a head coach and didn't work out. I don't know if he's gonna want to test those waters again. But
how about this? Steve Spagnuolo stays there, so when Reed retires, they just promote him. I know the system. You just get the offensive coordinator, and you just keep the party going.
Yeah, and there's rumors swirling around that Bieniemy may come back. I don't know if he would do that, but there's already talks swirling around, and there was even talks of Andy Reid retiring after this game, which, I mean, he's getting up there in age. So anything's possible, especially when you continue to go up in age, and you've done. I mean, he's done literally everything, and he's had some of the best quarterbacks, in his arsenal. But Mahomes is under 30, so he's 28 years old.
28. That's what I'm saying, man. This dude, he could go on and see, and again, man, this is gonna sound as if I'm diminishing Brady's accomplishments, but this dude is the reason, him and Joe and John. That's why I say him, Joe, John, and Roger. They were the reasons. A couple of those Super Bowls, Bill Belichick was like, just don't blow it. We already cheating. Don't blow it.
We had the camera on the other team all week. Just
right. I know what they're doing. Don't blow it. That first Super Bowl, don't blow it. I mean, the one they won against the Panthers. First year they put if you kick the ball out of bounds, you get it to the 35. You move to 35. I mean, that's all you need is 30 yards. You need three first downs. That's not a difficult task, man. Yeah. So, I mean, again, this dude is the reason. It's not like, oh, man, they got Ty Law and Jason Seymour and Willie McGinnis and that whole crew over there shutting you down, and then we cheating. And I ain't got no problem with cheating, because if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Right. But Randy Harrison they had. I mean,
yeah, man. These dudes were dominant. But look at it this way. Look, and then here's the thing. He did it every way that they say you can't do it. You know, when he first walked in the door, oh, they got all this talent, and they got Tyreek Hill, and they got running backs, and they're stacked everywhere. That's why they won. Okay, well, we're going to get rid of the best wide receiver we got, and we're going to get the offensive line is meant, you know, it's mangled. We're going to win again. And then this year, oh, man, they don't have nobody catch the ball. They're going to suck. So
guess what?
All that.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is throwing from guys from Dorchester stuff. He just threw a bunch of guys. Look, this is why this dude is great. And, you know, like says, we live in this stat-hungry world. The Kansas City Chiefs led the league in penalties and dropped balls and won the championship.
Yeah. They were, according to standards, they were not supposed to be in this game. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I picked the Ravens. I thought the Ravens were going to get it. I thought the Bills had a chance, and they went on the road. It's not like they probably had the toughest road that they've ever had in this era, you know, to be able to make it to the Super Bowl, and they did it
easily.
So they made it easy. Now I wanted to look up and see who was the top receiver this year. It was probably Kelsey.
They didn't have anybody with 1,000 yards.
Yeah, Kelsey. Yeah. We were talking about that. Kelsey was close, but yeah, they had nobody that was at that mark, which again is another, you know, interesting stat.
That's why when dude is the boy, man. He the man.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what I'm saying. You know, I don't want to get into the Mike Shanahan. He should have did this on third down in the third quarter on this day on that. No, man. As you just stated, man. The Kansas City, look at this run they went on, man. The Kansas City Chiefs beat, outside of Dak Prescott on this run, they beat everybody in the MVP conversation. And they beat the MVP. MVP. Get on up out here, chump. Get out of here. Josh Allen. Oh, you're an MVP candidate? You get up out of here too. The MVP, you get on up out of here. Oh, you was running for the MVP too? You get up out of here. And I did it on the road. Oh, he's never done anything in outside of Kansas City. Oh, really? I'm gonna show you what I'm doing.
Right.
So
he proved all the doubters wrong. And these people kill me talking about it's rigged. The game was 0-0 at the end of the first. How is that rigged? If it was rigged, it would have been. I mean, to me, it would have been more high scoring if you want to say it's rigged. I don't agree with that. And to me, that's just trying to diminish what Mahomes and the Chiefs did. So you can stop with all the. And then people saying Greenlaw's injury was fake. Like, why would you fake an Achilles injury? Why? That you see he was in pain. You see he was hurt. I mean, like, come on, man.
Look, man.
What's up, Al?
The question I have for the people who are always talking about this, the NFL is rigged. This, you know, like Vegas called it, and you know, all those sayings and stuff. This is the question I have. Why are you watching?
Right, exactly.
If it's rigged, I'm not watching. You must be the type of cat that watch reruns a good time and go, James ain't gonna die this time.
Right.
He died this time, dog. He died. If you know what's gonna happen, why are you watching?
Right. You watching a Malcolm X documentary, you're like, Malcolm lived. Malcolm's still alive. Right. No, Malcolm died. Martin Luther King died at the same point in time in every film.
I remember, I literally said that once. Somebody said, you know, I've never seen Malcolm X. I was like, don't worry about it. He died in the end.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, he didn't make it.
He don't make it. He ain't gonna be in 2.
Al said they say it was rigged because they want everyone to get a participation trophy.
I'm with Al, man.
Yeah,
I'm with Al.
Yeah, participation trophies is over with, man. Either you
Yeah,
win
man,
or you
I'm
lose.
tired of that, man.
Ain't no second place. Ain't no second place award.
Yeah, cats ain't missed a football game since the '60s, and they were born in '75. And, and it was fixed, man. You know, the fix was in. Stop watching, Jack.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple. Yeah, and they may not even be watching. They may just be saying it was rigged. Some people not even watching it, and it was like, yeah, I told you that's what was happening. No, you didn't even watch the game.
I literally, because I don't like Facebook anymore because of stuff like this. One of my homeboys was like, I'm so tired of this fixed, rigged stuff. I'm tired of watching this. I've never said I'm tired of watching something. Because when I get tired of watching it, I don't watch it.
I just stopped watching. Yeah, that's why I don't watch reality TV, because I don't like it or agree with it. So I'm not about to watch Housewives and none of that. Yeah.
That's like sitting around your house not washing your butt, talking about, man, something stink. You.
Yeah, you. Yeah.
You stink.
What's up, Golden? Thank you for tuning in. I love the photo. Good to see you tonight.
Yeah, man. But and then okay, it's kind of like this. If it's fixed, so that means Jordan ain't great then. But ain't nobody gonna say that,
right?
Because they fixed it, so he won. They wanted him to win. And say no, yeah, okay,
yeah. Jordan getting clothesline in the lane. Jordan getting power drive. Jordan getting uppercut while you going to the lane. Yeah.
Jordan ain't great. Kobe ain't great. Magic ain't great. Bird ain't great. Doc ain't great.
Yeah,
because it was fixed.
Right.
Oh, but no, and then they go, no. Back in the day, it was real. Also, what year did they start fixing it?
All right. What year did it become fake? Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Come on, man.
So a couple commercials. They had the Kawasaki Stone Cold business in the front, party in the back. That was we're getting a little bit better. Then they had the Temu. Hey man, Temu was trying to get a win, man. I'm still not ordering from Temu, but they're trying. They're trying to get people to order. It's like ordering stuff on Wish. It's going to be smaller than what you thought it was going to be, or not what you thought it was going to be. And then they had the Michael Cera, the CeraVe commercial. That was a little funny. So they, got getting a little bit above the man level. The Christopher Walken BMW commercial.
That was dope.
That was good. That was good. That was probably the best one. Maybe the best one of the night.
One that you're about to name, I think.
What you talking about, the Donkeys with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and all, and J-Lo?
Boy, if they ever show that commercial again, I'll never go eat it.
That was hot. Hey, that was hot trash right there, man. I mean, you got to be from Boston probably to like that.
And then they stole the movie. They stole the line from the movie. How you like them apples?
Yeah.
What's the name of that movie? When Ben Affleck and dude was in the movie together, they wrote it in the movie that put Ben Affleck on the map.
I don't know.
Because it's this one scene where they was trying to flirt with this girl and these rich kids. She wasn't giving them any run, and my man who plays Jason Bourne, he got a phone number and he went to the glass. He was like, "You like apples?" He's like, "Yeah." He put a phone number on the window and said, "How you like them apples?" And that's what they tried to do. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. It's horrible, man. It's horrible."
Yeah, man. They were pushing that way too far.
Yeah. He started dancing. Oh man, knock it out.
Raider Kev says, "I definitely don't believe it's rigged, but people will still watch in case in point WWE gets great ratings." Yeah, and that's the biggest storyline. It's storyline. It's entertainment. It's the World Wrestling. It was a federation, but now it's World Wrestling Entertainment. So that tell you right there.
But at least that's a TV show. We know that's not fake. I mean, we know that's not.
We know that. Yeah, we know that's fake.
Man.
Yeah.
For years, Hulk Hogan was going to win the match.
Oh yeah. And then then they become the bad guy, and he did NWO with WCW, and all that. But so 49ers go up 3-0. That's in the second. And then there's all these commercials with remakes of movies. They're remaking Twisters. They're doing another Planet of the Apes. I've never watched the Planet of the Apes movie. I probably won't watch this one either. But
you cheat yourself if you don't do Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The first two of the remakes with Caesar, you're cheating yourself, bro.
Okay.
Check them out. They dope.
All right. I don't know what it's on, but I'll make an attempt. I don't know. I just never have been like, that looks interesting.
Goodwill Hunting. Yes, that's the name of it. My man
Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Eric. All right. We got Vince Wright tuning in. Appreciate you for tuning in. We got Fly Tie, RC, Terrence Bennett, and Craig and Danielle White. Thank you guys for tuning in. All right. So this was probably the biggest play one of the biggest plays. Mahomes to Hardman for 52 yards. And that kind of just came out of nowhere. The defender didn't turn around. He kind of got lost. I don't know who that was. Maybe it was Ward, possibly, but
I think it was Reed.
Reed, okay. So that was a big time play, and he just wasn't tracking the ball. But again, that goes to Mahomes. He catches you and Andy Reid. They catch you slipping at the right time when obviously the 49ers weren't expecting that. But give me your thoughts on that play.
I mean, that was a great play. And if Mahomes wouldn't have threw that ball that looked like a boot, it'd have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
Because that was probably the worst ball he threw all night. If he'd have threw it like Patrick Mahomes throws it, that's a touchdown.
Yeah. Because he did have to reach back a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you know, the tripped out part about that play, the tripped out part about this entire situation is this. They come from the same tree. This is the Bill Walsh tree on both sides.
True.
Mike Shanahan and Andy Reid. Second generation. Right. They come from up on, I never get his name right. He actually kind of looks like Andy Reid. He was the coach of the Seahawks and the Packers. What was his name?
Holmgren.
Yeah, they came up under Holmgren, which comes up under Bill Walsh. So they're literally running the same offense right at each other. So again, this is what made this dope. You have y'all, I know you know me. There are no secrets. It's just who got the biggest pair.
Yeah. Who got the biggest cojones?
Yeah, who got the man. Dude, like I said, man, I enjoyed this being a former defender. This is my game. This is what I live for. Hitting, tackling. You know, it was hitting and tackling on both ends. You had to catch people slipping. And that play, I know that play. The funny thing is that I know that play. It's called a quarterback waggle, where you roll the quarterback out to the right or to the left, depending on which way you go. You have an intermediate route being run, and you got a deep route being run. If most cases, when the quarterback starts to run, as he did, the safety leaks into the box because you think he's going to Kelsey, which is his go-to guy.
Right.
And then you hit the dude over the top. And then the beauty in it is this. These clowns been dropping balls all year. So go ahead and beat me. You ain't got it. So
right. You're not gonna catch it anyway. So,
right, you're gonna catch it no way. So and again, this is the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. You had most quarterbacks, most people in the world would have given up on some of those wide receivers after week one. Let's not forget, man. This dude started the season losing to Detroit. And we didn't think it was going to be Detroit, but losing to Detroit. And why did they lose? Because they were dropping everything possible.
Yeah, and that was our guy. What's his name?
Number 4. I can't think of his name.
Didn't Kadarius Toney drop it, or was that Valdez-Scantling? Yeah. Both of them were just not at all helping Mahomes throughout the season. Now, I think Valdez-Scantling redeemed himself. I think that was in the Bills game, or that was in the Ravens game, where he caught a pass that kind of sealed the deal for him. So, but yeah, that was a big time play. Now, the funny part about this is they did not end up scoring on that drive because Pacheco fumbles the ball. So, after all of that, we just spent a couple minutes talking about it. He ends up fumbling. Ball goes back to the 49ers. and it ends up. So they go to commercial and they come back and they're like, "Dre, you're not gonna believe what happened to Dre Greenlaw." So I'm thinking, okay, maybe he was arguing with somebody and they trying to, make a point. But he's running onto the field and kind of hobbles or trips or something.
No, he just collapsed.
Yeah. They end up putting him on the cart, and they're saying they said it's a lower leg injury.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it, it looked like it was an Achilles, and that's what it ended up being. He never returned to the game. And then the other big play of the game was the trick play, Purdy to Jennings to McCaffrey. That was a beautiful play right there.
Mm-hmm.
And McCaffrey just had an open field. Nobody was gonna catch him. They end up going up 10-0. And this is when, you start to think like, okay, if they can keep this up, the main question was, can you keep up this offensive attack? Which at the end of the day, they did, but it, just didn't end up working out once it came down to the end. But that was a beautiful play. And that caught the Chiefs off guard because they all gravitated to that side.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennings, who was, I think he didn't play quarterback, but he had a touchdown pass in college.
Ohio State.
Yeah. So I mean that was
same play.
That was a dope play.
And you know what the tripped up part is? As you bring that up, this is my only issue with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy don't have no hammer, man. He don't have a hammer. If he had a hammer, they could probably that's what stops them. Because you got Debo, you got these other kids out there that they can stretch the field, but Brock Purdy is less accurate the further he throws down the field. Now, in his defense, he's in an offense that is designed to get the ball to the athletes immediately and allow them to do their thing.
Right.
So it's you're damned if you don't, screwed if you do.
Right.
And
Debo not traditionally in this type of game, Debo's gonna show up and show out. He had 3 receptions, 33 yards, 3 carries for 8 yards, and I think that was definitely a plan of Spagnuolo to shut him or McCaffrey down. Now McCaffrey went off, so I mean that was good, but they end up shutting down Debo, and I think that was also
McCaffrey. I meant to look this up last night because I knew once we said we want to talk about it. MCM, because this dude, man, you know what? The last time we saw a white guy doing this was 40 years ago. And I was thinking it as I was watching. I was like, the last time we saw a white boy killing it in the National Football League from the running back position, the Washington Redskins were running the league, and it was Riggins doing the thing.
Yeah.
Hey man, how old is this kid? McCaffrey, he's 27 years old. You understand that this dude he is on a Hall of Fame pace. He's 4,000 yards away from 10,000 yards.
Wow. And he had the rushing title this year.
Yeah, he got 52 rushing touchdowns, 29 receiving touchdowns. He's on a Hall of Fame pace. And I remember him coming out of Stanford. And I was like, they just hyping him up. I ain't gonna lie, man.
A lot of us thought that. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. Up until yesterday, I was saying that. I ain't gonna lie, man.
And I think this is the first year that he played a complete season, because the injuries has been his other issue, is that he has not been able to stay on the field. And so I believe this is probably his first year. Let me look and see exactly, but it's probably his first year. Yeah, he played all 16 games.
Oh, see, and that's something he's never done. I mean, man, the dude is good. I denied it for years. I denied it up until 24 hours ago, and I remember watching yesterday, going, "Dude, nice."
Yeah,
dude, nice. And once again, I'm not gonna lie. I have never watched a game in which they featured him the way they did yesterday. It's usually a little trick right here and there.
Right. They ran him up the middle. So they were talking about that. he can get to, if he gets to the outside, which he did a couple plays, and when he got to that outside, he was up the sideline. But he runs through the tackles. He's not a small, small back either.
It's not a little man.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a trade that they made, and that's one that is. I'll say this, to the end. The 49ers can build a roster and not lose anything the next year. They traded from McCaffrey last year. They traded for the defensive end from the Commanders. Yeah, right. So I mean, like their plan of building a team, I think, is genius. I think the Cowboys need to take a page out of that book. They draft well. Having John Lynch, which I said this on Radio Row, John Lynch was one of them people. Like, if you ever played Madden and you had a super team, you had to have John Lynch playing safety. You had to. I always had John Lynch, and I had Rondé Barber at corner and Champ Bailey on the other side. I mean, that you just had to have John Lynch, and so his eye for talent, him and his scouting department. I'm not gonna say it's all him, but him and his scouting department, man, they built a roster. I didn't know who Fred Warner was. I don't know who Greenlaw was. I mean, so that just shows you that you can build a complete roster, free agency, draft, and trades, and they've done it.
Almost definitely. See, I was literally thinking this. I don't know if you're aware of this. The SEC and the Big Ten are working in codes, and they are potentially have a focus group, and they are potentially going to leave the NCAA and create a super network. That's what the alleged prophecy is.
Okay.
And I was literally thinking this today. I was like, if they were to do that, it would be horrible. And why it would be horrible is this. That means everybody who's drafted will come out of the SEC/Big Ten, because the best players, at the end of the day, the best players come from the SEC and the Big Ten. This is where they come from.
Yeah, true. I agree with that.
And so you got Texas there, you got USC and those other, the best people from the Pac-10, the best people from the SEC, and the Big Ten and the SEC there, right?
Right.
It would do a disservice to everybody, because now you're only getting people out of this conference. But the 49ers, people like the 49ers, and I'm not going to discredit the Dallas Cowboys, man, because, okay, you got CeeDee Lamb. Everybody and their mother knew who CeeDee Lamb was.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody and their mother knew who Michael Parsons was.
Yeah.
Did nobody know who Lawrence was?
Yeah. Yeah. Come out of Boise. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And look, I mean, what's the other kid? DeMarcus Ware a few years ago.
Yeah.
The cornerback.
Yeah, he came out of Troy.
Yeah. Cornerback. And see, that's what John Lynch is doing. Because one of the beautiful things, I believe, this is why the Ravens and Ozzie Newsome and the crew he assembled, but that's been dismantled because they're all over the league now.
Yeah.
And this is what the Cowboys and the 49ers have identified. The best bar, and I literally did the math on it one day. I nerded out one day. This is back when we was on the other network. I nerded out one day. And do you know, I think it was 38% of the players that are in the National Football League come from schools that you never heard of.
True.
I took a small sample test. I did like 12 teams. And it was like 38%. That's almost 40% of the players come from schools. They didn't come from SC. They didn't come from, Pac-10, Big Ten, SEC, ACC schools. They came from Rudy Pooch State. Some of your favorite players come from schools that you don't like. Khalil Mack, he on his way to the Hall of Fame. Don't nobody know what Buffalo is. University of Buffalo.
Right.
DeMarcus Ware. We just named about 8 or 9 people.
Yeah.
That they come from schools that nobody's checking for. And I think that's what John Lynch and that's what winning franchises do. They put their scouts and they say, look, we know we can get film out of the SEC anytime we want. What we're going to do is go get guys who actually play football. I mean, Bart Scott, can't wait. Bart Scott, he came from a Division III school. Tony Romo, Division III school. Aeneas Williams, HBCU. Shannon Sharp, HBCU.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, HBCU. Walter Payton, HBCU. The dudes that we hold, John Stallworth, HBCU, small school out of Texas. Michael Strahan, HBCU. Joe Green, a small school out of Texas. So when you get these dudes from these schools who are actually playing football and teaching technique, and you put them in the league, you give them an opportunity, they shine.
Yeah, they could take it. They could take it and run with it.
Exactly. So that's what they do. That's what the 49ers are doing. That's what the Cowboys are doing. That's what the other winning franchises throughout the league are doing. Y'all keep drafting them SEC dudes. Come on ahead. Do that. Do that. We get this dude that ain't nobody ever heard of, and he on the low.
Right, right. Butler says, hold up, what conference Pat come out of? He did come out of the Big 12.
Who was that?
Which I think he's talking about Patrick Mahomes.
P-A-T, Patrick. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he came out of the Big 12. But
which probably, I don't know how much longer it's going to be around because they just lost the two big schools.
Yeah, they lost.
But and that was a perfect offense to showcase his talents because again, and Butler went to Texas Tech, so
that's why you asked that question.
Now, a question for you, Butler, were you there with Leach or were you there with somebody else? I'm just curious.
I think Butler about my age, ain't
he? Maybe. All right. So it's 10-3 at halftime. 49ers are up. So let's get into the halftime show. Usher, which this was a nostalgic type of halftime show because all of these songs are not new at all. Now maybe he did some new stuff, I don't know, but he started up with "Caught Up," had cameos. He definitely had to have Lil Jon. He definitely had to have Ludacris. Yeah, Jermaine Dupri come out with the socks, man. I don't know what the deal was with that. Had her come out. So I mean, this was. I gave it a B. I don't think it was upper echelon great. I'm not gonna give it an A, but I'll give it a B. He had some nice cameos. He danced. He was on the stage. He was on the field. Why are you looking like that?
Nah, I'm about to disappoint you, and I know it.
But I mean, I think I don't think there was anything he could have done to make it better. I mean, I think that was kind of his. Those are some of the guests he's had. I had Alicia Keys, and let me go to this. Spike Dykes was his coach. Okay, I left in '98. He was the head coach.
For me.
Okay. All right, give me your thoughts.
This is my first time ever watching a Super Bowl halftime show. I usually go pee.
Really? That's a long piss.
Hey man,
you must like go down the street to the Walmart bathroom.
At the halftime show for my whole life, I've been using the halftime show to go pee and go get something to eat, and then get some nachos or something. I've never watched the half. This is it.
So you didn't watch the Dr. Dre halftime show?
I ain't, man, no.
Right.
I mean, I watched it. I've been sent it.
Okay, I'm about to say you gotta watch. Hey,
no,
hip hop head.
I've been sent the Prince, the Dr. Dre, and the Michael Jackson. And then I saw this.
Yeah.
And then like on Jungle Them show last night. Look, them show on Jungle Them show last night. They kept asking me they was asking the question, what was your favorite one? And I kept saying, oh man, y'all see the one with Karis won an EPM. Hey, Troy B, he was like, I missed that one.
Come on, man.
I promise you. I've never watched it. This is the first time I watched some of the Rihanna thing last year, and I was just like, I gotta pee.
Man,
You know,
I don't. Yeah, I don't remember anything from that.
I just remember her walking up some stairs, and it was red, and then I was like, all right, let me go get
Yeah,
my
I
beer.
just remember her showing that she was pregnant. That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah. So it was cool. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it definitely had that. That was kind of my era of
I mean,
R&B in high school,
what
and
you got,
at
man?
45, this dude is killing it. I mean, and it was perfect. He has the residency in Vegas. All he had to do was show up, and he did his thing. He does the rollerblades and the everything. I mean, it was entertaining. He wasn't just standing in one spot. He was moving around.
And then I
It,
thought that was Kanye looking like Cool Mo D.
yeah, I
But they
was trying
told
to
me it
figure
was
out who
Will
that
I Am.
was.
Somebody said it was Will I Am.
Man, I don't
Was
look
it
like
Kanye?
I don't look like him, man. Will I Am been in the gym or eating or what something. Will I Am
Whoever
was a little
was,
skinny dude.
he was ODing on pork chops.
Yeah, on that pork, on that that
Yeah.
swine.
Yeah.
And I just found out that the Jackson State was the band
Yeah.
that he had. So,
Sonic Boom, baby.
you know, shout out to him. I felt like he did a good job. If you're like 20 and younger, maybe even 25 and younger, you probably don't remember any of those songs. But the good thing is for Usher, and I think this is for most guests, his streaming numbers are like out of this world. He hit
Oh, okay. That's good.
more plaques. He got more plaques just off of Super
Oh,
Bowl.
okay. That's dope.
Somebody told me that they don't get paid,
Yeah, they don't.
but you get paid when you know they go. Your streams
I
about to
need both.
skyrocket.
I need 2 checks.
Yeah.
One when I show up and one when I leave.
It should be. Should be.
Nah. See, that's why I could never be a performing artist of that nature. Rap, we want you to do the Super Bowl. Nah, y'all don't want me to do the Super Bowl. Why not? Because y'all don't pay.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing's
Y'all not
everybody
about to
know
pay
who
me.
I am. That's why y'all want me on the Super Bowl.
Right.
No,
Exactly.
I couldn't do it, man.
Yeah. So his whole thing was I brought the A to the world. He had it was all Atlanta artists. Her is not from Atlanta, but I felt like he did a good job. He's a showman. Had the one glove like Michael. I don't know if that was a
Like
tribute to
Justin.
Michael, but you know,
Yeah.
I feel like he did a good job.
Play a little homage to Prince.
Right.
I mean, he represented for the culture big time, man. I mean, he took his time taking over the music industry, and presented it to the world. This is who I am. I mean, I liked it, but I'm not gonna probably not watch it up again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rewind it.
The halftime show, I'll probably never watch that.
Right.
I have to pee. I'm older than 50 now. Peeing is paramount.
Let's see. Redicare says, I just watched the halftime show today. I was driving home. I was doing the game. That part of the show was Lil Jon came out. That was dope. Excuse me. I give it a B plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I enjoyed it, but I'm not gonna front, man. I don't be watching football games to see the halftime show.
Man. Yeah.
The halftime. Oh, that was great, man. Did you see with Justin Timberlake? Nah, I missed that too. I missed all that.
It was in the bathroom again.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that's snack time, man.
Yeah, you get your refill, you get your you get your extra snacks. If you need something, you can.
There you go.
It's so long. I mean, if you need to, you can go to the store and come back.
And then you usually stand around with folks talking about the game. Oh man, that was cold and blah blah blah. This, that, and the third. I'll be, yeah. Nah. You mean to see what Michael Jackson did? No,
actually.
I mean, man, that was cold. I was like, yeah. I've always and I must apologize to everybody over the years who I've been at Super Bowl parties and they was like, hey man, Michael Jackson killed it. I was like, sissy. In my mind, I was like,
you a sucker.
In my mind, I was like, I dissed him. And then I ain't gonna say his name, but last night this cat sitting next to me, right? And somebody was like, man, it'd be messed up if they throw a pick six. He was like, yo, B, what's a pick six?
Oh my gosh.
Look at that dude like,
Who
this
man? Whose man's is this?
And he my guy. And I'm like, don't talk to me no more, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
We watching football. You don't even know what a pick six is.
You don't know what a pick six is? How long you been watching football? Is this like his whole life?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Dude is a former athlete. He never played football. Well, he never played organized football, but I was like,
come on, man. Yeah, you definitely had to look at him sideways. Come on.
In my mind, I turned into Riley from the Boondocks. You gay. I promise you, I was like,
hey, classic show. All right, so one thing that happened in the first half we didn't talk about that we definitely wanted to touch on. Kelsey comes up to Andy Reid, and I don't know if Andy Reid didn't know he was coming, but he basically bumped him, and Andy Reid almost fell over. Now, I get it. He was probably pissed, like, I need to get the ball. But, the conversation is, if this was a black player, and this happened on TV, what would have been the outcome? Which he probably would have been taken out of the game, probably would have been kicked out of the game at minimum.
I disagree.
Okay.
The reason I disagree is it's the Super Bowl, man. You might be able to steal on the coach on the Super Bowl.
You will do that, man.
I'm just saying you might be able to do something insane. And okay, let me ask you this. Ben, coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and CeeDee Lamb bumped you in the first quarter. Give me the ball, Ben. Give me the ball. You gonna go, you know what, Joker? You out. And lose?
Yeah. Now, if this was okay, so let's flip it. If this was T.O., it would have kept T.O. in the game.
ESPN would have been trying to get him kicked out the league. But
T.O. was the biggest villain.
That's what I'm saying. If this was any black player, ESPN would be burying him. Fox would be burying him.
Yeah.
This is true. But if you a coach that's not a Riri, you can bump me in the Super Bowl.
Right. Andy Reid was like, he was just saying he needed the ball. It's all right. It's not the first time it's happened.
Right. I mean,
and they won. Now, if they would have lost,
now
that would have been plastered everywhere. That would have been everywhere.
Hey, if they would have lost, I'm going to the podium going, I'm losing control. We might have to get a new tight end.
Yeah. Now, if this was T.O., if this was Dez, if this was this was James Harrison.
Remember, they tried to bury Dez, and he was just telling his teammates, come on, guys.
He was done. They didn't try. He was done. He went to the Saints. I think he tore his Achilles.
No. Remember that one time Dez was on the sidelines encouraging his teammates. He was like, come on, man, we better than this. We the Cowboys. Come on, man. Keep your head up. And they thought he was over there saying, give me the ball. Give me the ball.
Right.
And the audio came out, and it was a 180. He was encouraging. He was, come on, man, keep your head up.
Yeah.
And they destroyed him.
Yeah. And I mean, really, shortly after that, his career was what 2 years after that? 1 to 2 years after that?
Injury.
Yeah. And then he got on the Ravens, I think, for 1 year. Played with
Lamar.
Well, Lamar, yeah. All right, so third quarter was Buckner ends up kicking a field goal. They end up getting a touchdown to Valdez Scantling.
Mm-hmm.
So it ends up going to 13-10. And so that was it was becoming, second half was a lot more competitive, obviously, than the first. And I think they started to, like you said, they're both running the similar plays. and I think they started to find some holes and some creases, and
Mm-hmm.
and then I wanted to bring up the Bill Walsh coaching tree is crazy. I mean, it is. I just wanted to pull it up to I just wanted to pull it up to see. So directly under him is Holmgren, Jim Fossil, Paul Hackett,
That's the
Sam
dude who
White.
he told. That's the dude who Andy Reid told, Jim Fossil.
Oh, okay. George Seifert, and then Dennis Green. I didn't even know Dennis Green was under that Walsh coaching tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go all the way under there, and it's
Steve
amazing.
Mariucci, John Gruden.
Yeah, the Harbaughs, both of the Harbaughs,
Both of the
McCarthy,
Harbaughs.
yeah, Shanahan,
Yeah.
Dungy.
Both the Shanahans.
Wow.
Well, I don't do the Dungy. I don't give him credit for Dungy.
So Dungy's under Dennis Green, the Dennis Green.
But Dungy was a coach under Chuck Noll.
Okay.
He left the game. Remember, Dungy left Minnesota as he was the Minnesota quarterback coming out. Wait, of course, you don't remember that.
Yeah.
But he left college.
I had to look it up, yeah.
And he was a quarterback, and they flipped him to DB. And then he went to Chuck Noll, and then he went to KC. Then he went to Dennis Green. I'm not giving him credit for that.
Okay. All right. So well, before we continue the rest of the show, we did want to play the trailer for next week, which would be the greatest night in pop. So check this out. We'll be reviewing it next week. We'll be right back. Man, that is going to be very, very interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to it. I didn't know they just had one night, first of all, to do that. And it's like 4:00 in the morning. You got Stevie, Michael, Lindy, Cindy Lauper. I mean, this any artist you can think of obviously seemed like was there, and obviously Quincy, man, the great Quincy Jones doing it. Harry Belafonte. It looked like that was Sheila E. Sheila E. was there. Yeah, so I'm very interested to watch that. It's on Netflix.
Her story is very interesting in that.
Yeah, I'm interested because she wasn't. I'm assuming she wasn't singing. She was more
she was singing.
She was singing. But she was more so doing that.
I don't want to spoil alert. I don't
okay.
want to but I remember, being of age at that point. I'm old enough to. I was old enough to know the magnitude of that.
Right.
So I remember that, and I'm gonna say something about that, and then you know what? I'm gonna hold that thought. Because I'm gonna use that next week because it's something that touched me when I watched that. Because you know what? I'll say it and then I'll expound on it next week. That's the day, in my personal opinion, that's the day the radio died.
That day.
That's the day when that song came out. It murdered radio. It shot radio and put it in ICU. And then later on, it died. And I'll expound on it next week.
Okay, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I was watching that, and I said, "Wow, this is dope." And then I started thinking, and I was like, "Wow, this is a wonderful night, man. This is an excellent night." I remember that day. I mean, the day that came, I remember watching that video on Friday night videos. Ironically, it's this thing. I ain't gonna say what they did, but you'll see what they did that night. And I remember looking at that, going, interesting.
Hey, well, I cannot wait to hear your definitely your take and opinion on it. And that was yeah, definitely, Al. So I need to watch that.
It's wonderful.
We'll be reviewing it next week. It's probably about an hour and 15
It's like
minutes.
90 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was that thing stood out. That was my first thought. I was like, wow. Because put like this, I'm not gonna even tell you even after we get off air, but me and Doc have mentioned that what I believe happened several times during the forecast. And that was the beginning of the end of it right there. And I was like, oh, wow. Because I enjoyed everybody on that thing besides Bob Dylan. I've never been into Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
That dude sounded like somebody choking him. But I enjoyed everybody's music on that program. And I was like, And spoiler alert, one of my favorite artists there. Hey, take a guess, see if you could guess my favorite artist in that.
Your favorite artist there?
Never guess. You probably don't even know he's there. You probably
Michael McDonald?
No.
Oh.
You kind of close. He white.
Was the guy from the Bee Gees there?
No, I think a couple of them had Croak by then. I think.
Oh, okay.
Andy Gibb? No. The Bee Gees wasn't there. I give you one more guess. Actually, you got something in common with him. How about that? That's another hint.
Really?
He's my favorite artist there, man.
And he's white.
And he's white. And you have something in common with him.
You got me on that. McCartney?
No, Paul McCartney wasn't there because he was mad at Mike by then.
Okay.
He was mad.
All right. Well, hey, yeah. Let me know next week. I don't want to know now, but let me know next week. But yeah, I'm definitely looking for it, and I love these kind of nostalgic because I mean they got so much footage during different things, even with The Last Dance. Nobody knew for so long that they had that amount of footage. So this is going to be all of them in one room. I mean, that's a lot of egos. It's a lot of probably assistants. That's a lot of, you can't tell me what to do.
Well, I can't wait till you watch it then, man. Because that was pretty dope, man. It's pretty dope.
Okay. I can't wait.
Enjoyed it.
I can't wait.
And like I said, man, that night I was watching that. I can't wait till next week now, because as I'm watching it, I was like, wow. I wasn't emotionally sad like, oh man, it's horrible. But I was remember thinking, damn. Wait till you hear my take on it. Okay. And I really want us to invite older people to this group. Hey, you got Canva, right?
Yeah.
Do something on Canva so I can post it on my IG, on my Instagram, Twitter, and this will be the first thing I post on the Brian Williams social media page since 2020.
2020?
Yeah.
You talking about the Facebook, the Brian Williams?
Yeah, the Brian Williams Facebook. I will post it on there because I want people to watch it, because I really want to see older people's opinion. Doc is good. He's going. I'm gonna wonder what Doc is going to think when I offer that opinion.
I would wonder, what my parents would think, because they were definitely in that era.
Especially, please ask your parents to come in on this, because that's gonna be my initial thought. Because when I watched it, I was watching it going, this is gonna be my initial thought. I mean, it was two things that stood out. I can give you this. No, I ain't gonna give you that either.
Just wait. We'll say, but next week, the greatest night in pop, we'll review that. Make sure you come back next week. So third and fourth quarter, kind of where the crunch time in the fourth. Jawan Jennings ends up getting a touchdown pass, 16-13. The extra point was blocked, so that kind of could change the trajectory of the game just a tad. And then it was field goals. Buckner, Moody, Buckner again, and then that's what brought it to 19-19. And I believe it was the most field goals kicked or made in a Super Bowl. And so
longest field goal ever made in a Super Bowl.
Right. That was six. Well, I don't know, was that 60?
No, 55.
Yeah, so that was by Moody, who was a rookie out of Michigan. So, shout out to him. So then we get 19-19. We get in overtime. So here's where a lot of people said the 49ers shouldn't have gotten the ball. I don't agree with that. I think if you want to make the first statement and get the first punch, you got to get the ball. Now, obviously, you got to make a stop afterwards, but you got to get the ball. So they end up going down. Moody ends up kicking the field goal. And then there was a Kittle was going in and out of the game with an injury. He said he had a shoulder injury. They didn't say exactly what it was. And then the ball gets in Mahomes' hands. So he goes about a 7-minute drive. Well, no, the 49ers go about a 7-minute drive. They kick the field goal. And then Mahomes gets the ball. Game on the line, 4th and 1, like you said, had to make a play. And he put it in his hands, ran for the first down. Chiefs driving. They get down to, what was that? Probably 1st and goal. And they end up running another amazing play. I think they called it corn dog. Hardman, it seems like he's not going to be going to the outside, and he kind of hides behind a player. He was wide open. Game was over. So he ends up catching the pass.
That was it.
And at the end, Mahomes, that Hardman is getting interviewed, and Mahomes comes behind him and said, "You didn't even know the game was over with." He was like, "You wasn't celebrating." So it was a lot of misunderstanding of the overtime. But we all, us watching it, we knew because 49ers had the ball. So the game was over. And that kind of that sealed the deal. First back-to-back win, Super Bowl win in 19 years.
See, the thing is, this is the thing that trips me out about that whole thing. This lets you know people, God make it so you can hear. Listening is a choice. Okay, now, true indeed, the Chiefs coaching staff and the 49ers coaching staff should have gone over the new overtime rules with their players. That's without a doubt. But it is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. You're in the middle of it at that point, yeah.
But the refs, like they were saying, we didn't know how it worked. Okay, the ref literally said, we have new overtime rules. And
right. He broke it down.
He broke it down.
They probably put it up on the Jumbotron too.
Exactly. He said, both teams will get an opportunity, no matter what. I have even if you go into the get down with that same mentality, being totally ignorant of the new rules, okay. Again, in the words of the great philosopher Willie D, you got to let them hang, man.
Yeah. You got to go out there and make a stop at the end of the day.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to hear that. Oh, man, we didn't know the rules. The rules of football are as follows. Stop them on defense. Score on offense.
Yeah, and it's your job. Me and Wilkes was joking at work. It was like, you shouldn't have sent that email from the NFL to the spam mail, man. You should have read that email.
Right. I mean, bruh.
Regarding Super Bowl rule changes, you should have read that email.
And I think that is an appropriate rule. You should, the world championship shouldn't be decided sudden death.
Yeah. I mean, entertainment purposes, that's exactly what you want to do.
Because what happens if I slip and fall and miss the tackle? Or I get hurt and then you score?
Yeah.
Oh boy, what if that linebacker who blows his Achilles out chasing you down and then you
the last play of the game. Yeah.
Right. Oh, we lost. Nah, man. I'm with it, man. Look, again, this is why when Jungle and Kev was on earlier and they were identifying the flaws with Mike Shanahan, I'm like, I don't see where, like everybody's saying, well, they would have been more aggressive, blah, blah, blah. Why would you be more aggressive with a quarterback who don't have a hand cannon attached to his shoulder? Why would you be more aggressive? And that's not the way you played all season.
Yeah.
Why would you be aggressive against one of the best defenses in the league? Show me another instance in which the XYZ team is playing the XYZ best defense in the league, and the game plan is, you know what we got to do against the 85 Bears? We got to get aggressive. You know, you know what we got to do against the 2000 Ravens? We got to get aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what we got to do against the Steelers? We got to get aggressive. No, that's not what you do against the best defense in the league.
Right.
You keep it conservative.
And the biggest thing too is it was working. It wasn't like they were down. They were up. They were up until the end of the fourth quarter. They were up in the game. So it wasn't like what they were doing wasn't working. I think when they got into overtime, they say this all the time. When it's a whole new game. Like what you did, yeah, exactly. What you did from quarter 1 to 4 means nothing at this point. And they could not capitalize on the biggest opportunity. That's just what it comes down to.
To me, I agree with you, man. Like what coaching decision made the 49? I mean, the Chiefs block that extra point.
Right.
So I think we get into this analytic mode, and we want to analyze and overthink things. Hey, man, it's this thing called Occam's razor. Occam's razor is the most obvious answer is the answer.
Yeah, the most obvious answer is the right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happened yesterday. I mean, this is good football, man. This is why. Look, dog. Are we to say if what would have been an excuse if Patrick Mahomes fumbled or something? They shouldn't have had him running. Nah, man. We do this analyst thing too much. Man.
Yeah, man. If you're trying to win the game, and Shanahan kind of said this. I mean, we were trying to win the game. We came out with the best game plan we possibly could, and it didn't. They just lost. And they were leading most of the game. So at the end of the day, Chiefs win the Super Bowl back to back. Mahomes wins the MVP, deservingly so. He had 333 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also led the team in rushing, 9 carries for 66 yards. And that was in crunch time moments. He wasn't just running around because, he had nothing else to do. He had to in key situations. You guys can downplay what I'm saying with the 49ers. They were playing to stay in the game. Don't beat Mahomes like that.
But I mean, okay, if they were planning to stay in the game, that means that they were planning to stay in the game all 17 games of the regular season and both playoff games, because they played the exact same. Get the ball to your. I mean, the West Coast offense says get the ball in your playmakers' hands, and that's what they did all day. Gave the ball to Mitchell. Gave the ball to McCaffrey. They hit their receivers. They played 49er football. You got a quarterback who's physically limited. The further he throws the ball down the field, the less accurate he is. So now we're gonna open up the playbook and say, chuck it deep against the best defense in the league, against a defense that shut down the league MVP.
Because they at the end of the day, they stuck to the game plan. Now, if you look at the Cowboys, who completely changed their whole defensive scheme all year long, you see what happened to them. So I think, obviously, again, this is all hindsight. Could they have been more aggressive on that play? Yes, but it could have backfired and they got no points. So I mean, that's kind of those you try to make the best decision during that time. I mean, Shanahan has been the coach in these situations, so yes, there is a mark definitely on him. And I don't know, it's gonna be hard to get back, man. It's not easy to get back to the Super Bowl. Teams around him are getting better. So I don't know. To me, this year was that year. I don't know if they can get back and win it again, or even get to this point again. Like I said, as teams are getting better around them.
I think they can, because of what we talked about earlier. They are constructing a dynastic situation.
Mm-hmm.
This is why when people say you're the greatest because you won this many championships, that Kyle Shanahan, that's like, I'm shocked nobody kicked Steve Wilkes in the head today. Because you're the defensive coordinator, you couldn't stop. I couldn't stop Tom Brady. I couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes. I couldn't stop John Elway. I couldn't stop Joe Montana, because that's where this dude is sitting.
Yeah.
He's sitting in the big boy room. Him, Troy Aikman, Tom Brady, Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, and I think that's it. They won 3 or more Super Bowls.
Yeah. And they got to him. They had well, actually, they only had 1 sack, but they were sorry, 1, 2. They had 2 sacks. They had a ton of pressure. So I mean, they were getting after him, but Mahomes is just here, and everybody else is there.
What Randy Kev just say?
He said, "No, they didn't, but I'm saying anything else. No, they didn't, but I'm not saying anything else about this game." No. Hey man, and I do believe, and this was one of the things I was talking about. The thing that could have derailed the 49ers is maybe Shanahan getting in his head, because you've been in this multiple times. You're in that crunch moment, and you could second guess himself. Now he's not going to admit that, but he could have second guessed himself. That is a possibility.
Man, my right hip is killing me. I don't have, put like this. If Antonio Pierce is in this situation in 365 days and the Raiders lose, I'm like, okay. It's kind of like, I don't understand okay, you mentioned he may be second guessing himself. Where?
I mean, it's just gonna come down to that last play. That's it.
Right. I mean, let's look at the fourth quarter.
And that's a 50-50 shot.
Right. Let's look at the fourth quarter. They didn't stop Patrick Mahomes. He ran out of time. If he got 10 more seconds, this game don't go into overtime. Think about it.
True.
They let the clock run down because they had confidence in him doing it. If they'd have called that last time out, this game might not go to overtime. They didn't stop that guy.
Yeah.
And then it's not like the 49ers was putting up 45, 42, 35-point games every week.
Oh, so that's it. Man, Chiefs win. They go back to back. I think when it comes to, and this is kind of what they were talking about with the 49ers, what do you do? What do you do in the offseason? Do you try to overhaul and change everything? Which I don't think you do that. But mentally, it's going to take a toll, and they've all, post-game interviews are saying that it's going to take a toll, and it's going to be a long offseason for them. But I think they'll definitely be in the playoffs this time. Next year, can they make it back to the Super Bowl? I mean, that's to be determined.
It's gonna be. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be as difficult as you think. Okay, let's just go through the league. I love the genius of these young coaches, but sometimes they get too smart for their own good and then tend to outthink the situation. Okay,
possibility. And who knows? I know he's probably, I don't know. I don't know if they don't really link him to analytics, so I don't know if he's an analytic guy. But who knows if somebody called down and say, "Hey, just kick the field goal here." Who knows? We're not going to know that. I don't think we're going to.
But it's kind of like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks. They played the Lions in the NFC Championship game, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like 2 weeks ago, NFC Championship game. Everybody got mad at the Lions coach. But that dude had been doing that when the Lions was sucking. Remember, he the coach, and they were kicking him in his head because he'll go for it on 4th down.
Yeah. Hey, so that's the flip side of the aggressor.
Exactly.
You don't get it, and then you get roasted. Hey. So I think Shanahan's gonna get roasted either way.
My thing is, look, you dance with the girl that you brought to the party. I'm a conservative coach. I'm running this specific offense. That's what I do. Dan Campbell, I'm in your face. Look, take it back 8 weeks. They playing the Dallas Cowboys on that Thursday night. Dan Campbell did the same thing and didn't go for the field goal and lost the game. So when he lose the game in the same fashion in the playoffs, are we shocked? But back to the 49ers not making it back. Okay, let's just go to the NFC East, your division. We don't know what the Skins gonna do, or the Commanders. We don't know what the Commanders gonna do.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be there. But
Right.
To me, that's Philly. That's Philly and the Cowboys.
But we don't know what the Eagles gonna do because they got two coordinators too.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to the Bears division. Hopefully the Lions maintain.
I think they will.
The Bears are unstable. The Packers look good. The Vikings, they are rat fart in front of the Bears.
No. I don't trust the Vikings, so yeah.
Right. So, okay. The 49ers division. The Seahawks are unsettled. They don't even have a coach, do they?
They hired a young guy from somewhere.
Okay. We don't know what's going on in Seattle. We don't know what's going on in Arizona.
Yeah, I don't think Kyler's going to be there next year.
The Rams getting a new DC. They iffy. Then in the NFC South. We don't know what's going on with the Panthers. We don't know. That whole division sucks.
Yeah. Well, Tampa Bay in that division.
Oh man, they got Faker Will fail.
So it's gonna be. I mean, we just went through it. It's gonna come down to Lions, Cowboys, Eagles,
49ers,
and 49ers.
Packers and 49ers.
You can throw the Packers in there
because
probably the lowest seed will probably be Tampa Bay.
Right.
Similar to what it's been the past 2 years.
The Packers and the Lions are two of the youngest teams in football. Unless the Bears do a 180, I ain't expecting a whole lot out of them. They had one of the top 5 defenses by the end of the year. But
at the end of the day, the Cowboys are going to have to prove they can beat the 49ers, which they have not been able to prove that the past 3 years.
And then they in the re division, so they're going to have a re schedule. So the 49ers should be, barring an extreme amount of injuries, they good.
Yeah. And the team not changing. But I don't know. Year after to go back to back. I mean, the Chiefs obviously have done it. Hey, man, I don't know. I don't know if I'm 100% on the 49ers getting back to the Super Bowl.
What's missing? You got McCaffrey. Look, barring injury, which they should get better. They should get nothing but better. And look, you're gonna replace what they say, like 14% of every team gets a return. Yeah. You got 14%.
Yeah. And the only thing I can think of is the Lions learning from there. I think they'll get better. They'll probably, I mean, they didn't have a lot of holes. So I'd see them getting better.
They're going to get a couple people. They're going to get some free agents. They got a good DC. The Lions, their OC and DC was like, well, no, we won't be coaches. We're going to run this back.
Aaron Glenn and who's the OC?
Oh, the Ravens DC went to be the Seattle Seahawks coach.
Oh, okay. And that's Aaron Glenn, right? That's the
he was a new dude.
Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's the OC, and then Aaron Glenn is the DC. So,
but maybe the Falcons will do better. I don't know, because they got my man Raheem Morris. See, NFC is trash. So you gotta he said
NFC South.
Yeah, sorry. Look, we cannot praise. Look, just think about it. At the beginning of this program, we praised Shanahan. We praised Shanahan. We praised Lynch, and we praised that whole staff. And then we're gonna, at the end of the show, we're gonna go, hey man, they might stain out. Come on.
I'm not saying it's gonna be a collapse. I think they'll be in the playoffs. They'll probably make it to the conference championship game. But it's just hard especially when you don't have Mahomes. You got Purdy, you got a great coach, but there's something can go wrong.
Only thing wrong with Purdy, he can't stretch the field.
Yeah, and that's not gonna change.
Yeah, he's about to get stronger. Is Justin Field the answers for the Bears? I believe he is, but I don't think that coach is the answer. The coach is the question. Anytime you will have a look, and this is the racial segment of the show. Stop trying to coach these young black quarterbacks like old white quarterbacks. I heard them say it on. Now, Ben, you can confirm this. They said it Friday on the Pivot. Channing Crowder said it. Stop coaching these young black boys. He said they said, and it was like right up. It was like they had watched the episode of one of my programs. It was like the true sign, the sign of a good coach is this: you don't coach the system, you coach the players.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bears consistently hire coaches that coach the system. The only shining light in this is the OC that got Geno right. It's the OC for Justin Field now.
But who is the? So I'm looking it up right now.
The Bears just hired the OC from Seattle.
Luke Gisty. Looks like Luke
Yeah.
Gisty. Yeah, and their head coach is a defensive coach, isn't it? Eberflus. And this is how many OCs has he had? Fields. It's probably his third or fourth one.
1 year since he got there.
Yeah.
Because remember, Eberflus wasn't even his coach. So
yeah.
This is a Chicago tradition. Draft Ben, draft H-Rap, coach him up, trade him to the team that's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I think the alternative is not great. I mean, they talking about Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams hadn't played a down in the NFL. So
and
at least you got Justin Fields got some experience.
He got jinxed by Merrill Hodge today.
Oh.
Hey, everybody who Merrill Hodge has said is going to be a killer has been a killer. And he didn't say Caleb Williams. He didn't say Caleb Williams wasn't going to be good. He said he ain't Patrick Mahomes. So you can not be Patrick Mahomes and still be good. You could be Lamar Jackson. You could be Brock Purdy. You could be Justin Field. But look, 365 days ago, guess who he said was the best quarterback prospect in the draft? C.J. Stroud. So when Merrill Hodge gave you the stamp, and then they took it back, and they took it back about 10 years, and they was like, who wouldn't you draft? He was like Johnny Manziel. He said,
he was spot on. He was spot on with that one.
He said, whoever drafts Johnny Manziel, that coaching staff and that regime will be gone inside of 2 years.
And they were. I don't even remember who the coach was.
He don't even.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It don't matter.
It was the Browns, man.
Yeah. But all right. Chiefs win the Super Bowl back-to-back. Next week, like we said, we will be back. The four of us should be here with the Fourcast, the greatest night in pop. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for all the support during Super Bowl week. You can check out all the content on YouTube. It's on our Facebook, and it's on the Roku channel. And we'll be back and better than ever. You want to go ahead and close us out? Oh no, what you got coming up tomorrow on?
I don't know. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got this one thing. One thing I am going to talk about is celebrities. Malcolm X once famously said, "We're the only community that listen to celebrities when it comes to our empowerment and our politics."
Yeah.
I'm going to show some things that you got rappers, Ice Cube, rappers, Loose Change, aka Curtis, aka 50 Cent. Well, you got people saying, "Oh man, maybe this dude is, maybe Trump is the way," and it's because they're reading headlines instead of reading stories. And at the end of the day, it's what's scary is this, and then I'm done. The very same tactics that they were using in World War II to start World War II, they're using the same things now. They hate the Jews, 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 hate the Jews. And then when they started attacking the Jews, nobody stood up for the Jews. Now it's hate the migrants, hate the migrants, hate the migrants, hate the migrants, hate the migrants.
When they started attacking, that's a great point.
And then how about this? And then we can go. Ron DeSantis and what's his name? Jim Abbott.
Oh, yeah, Abbott, Jim Abbott.
Yeah, Jim Abbott and Hot Wheels is what they call him.
Yeah, Governor Hot Wheels.
And Ron DeSantis. How about this? We bring them up on human trafficking charges because they're taking these people and shipping them all throughout the country. That's human trafficking last time I checked out.
It is. It is. Oh, Greg Abbott.
Greg Abbott.
Yeah.
Greg Abbott. Hot Wheels.
Yep.
And, so this is also the dude who stood in front of a media at a press conference and said, we would start shooting them, but Joe Biden would arrest us for murder.
Wow.
He said that out loud.
Wow. And his supporters probably clapped.
They did.
Yeah, you're right.
They thought it was funny. Yeah, man. So it is what it is, player.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week. We'll leave you with a commercial from our sponsor, Sheer Alternatives, the all-natural toothpaste, mouthwash. So we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
It's all pure from Mother Nature. It's all natural.